Hi everyone, Adrian here. This is part 3 in our 8-part series for our investment property journey. We bought 8 investment properties since December of 2020, and we're giving you a full breakdown on each property that we purchased, the areas that we purchased in, and all the metrics and what the thought process was as we went through it. I'm hoping that this gives a lot of value to property investment buyers out there, and especially the ones that have bought 1 or 2 but really want to start going towards longer term goals of income replacement, and making sure that you're aware that we've done this since 2018, since the new lending laws. All these guys that have built these huge portfolios in the past either had large incomes, okay, since 2018, since the lending laws have changed, or they built their portfolios before 2018 when the lending laws were different, when it was a property game. Now it's a lending game. All right, so this is the 3rd investment property that we purchased. It is in South Brisbane. All right, so here I am operating in a mortgage broking business, and we purchased this within about 1 to 2 months of the last buy that we did in the Ipswich Council. Okay, why was I targeting these kind of areas? Because right now in Brisbane and Queensland, they've got a new granny flat rule. And there's about 2.5 years left on that rule, which a lot of the councils in the north of Brisbane CBD, right up towards northeast Queensland, a lot of the councils would allow you to build a granny flat, but then you can't rent them out separately or have separate facilities, so electric, water, and it makes it very hard because you can't really get the rental return that you want. Okay, before all these rules came in, we were targeting Ipswich and Logan councils because they were the 2 councils that allowed you to do it. You could do a 1-bedroom 60 square metre. Most of the time it was a 50 square metre, in the Ipswich Council in the west, and in the south a lot of the time you could do a 70 square metre 2-bed granny flat. Now with this one, when we initially bought it, we got the granny flat builder to check it all, and we thought that we could do a 2-bed 70 square metre granny flat, and the rent at the time we were getting quoted was anywhere around $360 to $380, and now it's anywhere from it's $420 to $440, because the south of Brisbane has actually boomed quite a bit. I won't mention the exact suburb, but it's smack bang in the middle of the Logan area. Okay, so this one, the main house was renting out at $340 when we started contract negotiations on the property. Again, it was bought through my buyer's agent, and through that process, we ended up closing on the property at around the 410 grand mark. Okay, so this is a 3-bed, 1 bath, multiple cars, but obviously there's only a driveway, there's no carport on the side. Really good side access and about 720 square meters of land. And we really liked the internals, it was all done up. And we really liked on the back, there's a really big area where you can put a barbecue, a really big table, and also have a covering over the back, off the back of the house, which we really liked, increasing the entertainment space. All right, so we knew that we were going to put the granny flat on the back, but after we've done all the checks and when our borrowing power capped out at the end of last year, we've now found out that we're doing all the granny flat plans again, and we can get the lending, that there's the issues with the sewer line and also some parameters on the back of the block, so we're getting reduced down to about a 55 square metre 1-bedder. So we should be able to get about, say, $330 to say $350 rent because of this particular area, and I think that that's very achievable on the rent. And when we went through with this purchase, there were a couple of things that happened. So one, we bought the property for $410. So again, my buyer's agent was very good at getting into this property, because what the backstory was that the owner was a lady. she was getting harassed by 2 real estate agents that were local, and it happened so often and so much that she just got so annoyed, and she's like, how can I sell with it while screwing these 2 guys? That's pretty much what she said. She didn't want to pay a cent of commission to these 2 guys. So she went direct through our buyer's agent with her representative, didn't pay that, and she thought that she was getting a great deal where she wasn't paying, 15 grand in sales commission to the real estate agent, which enabled us to get a really good deal. Because at 410 right now, I would say current valuation is anywhere around, say, 550 to 570 for this particular one, and that's without the granny flat on the back. All right, so we got it. There was no competition. It was off market, which was amazing. And key thing was, when the building and pest was getting done, there was a huge rainstorm that came in, and the building and pest guy found the water pooling under the property, so used that as a sales negotiation tool to get what we thought was about $1,200 to $1,500 fix. We ended up getting 4.5 grand off the price, so it got reduced during the contract period down to about 405.5k. So that was the story on this one. And what you can't see in the pictures, it's got a really good, nice 1.8 meter front fence with sliding gate that we really liked for the privacy aspect on this one. And it was a clear flat block square with good side access. So we knew that we had to reduce the size of the granny flat, but we can still fit the granny flat on. So yeah, we're at the stage now where we're going through one equity release via the first property, and we know that I'm timing my tax returns as a self-employed person to up my borrowing power at the same time that I'm making sure that I'm having the deposits and I'm ready to go. So I keep on timing that, and then just doing a bulk of buys. So yeah, that's what we did here. So some of the time we lodged my tax return late, sometimes we lodged it early over a 2-year period, and then that's what enabled me to buy so quickly and continually increase my borrowing power, because the majority of our household income during this time, up to our 7th property, our tax returns were showing anywhere around 210 grand household income. Now, rates were in the 2 and 3% range while we were doing up to 7 of the properties. The 8th one was a little bit higher. I think it was after the 2nd or the 3rd rate increase. Okay, and just bear in mind, I'm a self-employed person who has many different ways to reduce my income via expenses and deductions compared to a PAYG person. So, and obviously that's based on a tax return 2 years ago. So my income's gone up and up and up since then. All right, but just making sure you're aware that there's a lot of households out there on 200 and 210 grand income, and you can't particularly do this kind of strategy without an accountant and a more complicated approach. Because the rates were so low, we were able to get up to a debt to income ratio of 7 or 8. So you add up your income plus the annual rent times it by 8. That was very close to what we were getting on our borrowing power. When right now with rates through the roof, it's very hard to get anywhere upwards of 5 or 5.5. So you can't really get anywhere close to the amount of property that I bought during this buy stage, the 8 investment properties. So you would have to start an accountant process and a more complicated process using trusts to continue this kind of arrangement where you're just buying. All right, but at the end of the day, even with us getting capped on our lending on our 7th and our 8th property, that's pretty much everyone regardless. So if the rates were going up and we were on peak rates right now, probably we would have been limited at our 4th or 5th investment property unless we started using a more complicated approach. So that's just good to know and food for thought. Now, yeah, we were very happy with this. We've made over 150 grand equity inside of 18 months, which we're very happy with. We got it under market value. It was off market, and yeah, knowing the story, we got a little bit off on the building and pest. Now, the last thing was the rent. So when we started the negotiations, the rent was at $340 a week, which was extremely sub the market, and the lease was coming up during the contract times. So my property manager got in on this and said, look, you can negotiate that you're not going to go formal unless they do a very large rental increase and you see that rental increase, because I didn't want them, negotiating whatever they thought was fair and then me being forced into another 12 months on really low rent. So the rent got up to $390 before I got the keys, which is great. And then it rolled on to the same tenant and it's rolled on to $440. So if we're looking at everything said and done on a 20% deposit, you're looking at a buy of anywhere in that 405 mark. You're looking at rent of 440 right now, which is 6% on the main house. And do we think, well, that rent should be going to like a 480, but we'll probably be keeping it at 440, knowing that the granny flat is going on and we're not subdividing, but putting a fence down the side and the back to separate the back gardens, and they lose a car spot. So we're not going to do the $40 increase. We'll probably get rent of about, say, $340, $350 for the granny flat at the back, okay, plus $440 on the front. So, we're going to be sitting, somewhere close to the high sevens and maybe be able to get close to an 800 rental return on this, when the total cost of the granny flat is on this one, because of what's happening with the sewer, it's somewhere around that 190 mark, give or take. So 190 plus the 405, you're looking at somewhere in the high fives. Take your 20% deposit off that. You've got a mortgage of somewhere around 400, and you've got rental returns in the high kind of 700 range. So you're looking at quite good rental returns, over 8.5% gross yield. And yeah, it's just another good, I would say this is a great bread and butter approach. We've had, I think, one maintenance request so far. The tenants, I think, what happened here, the children drew on the walls, which I just said, look, there's a pot of paint there, please repaint it. We're not going to get a tradie to come in. And then I think the two kids trashed two of the blinds. So I said, you've got the option of either replacing that or seeing if you could potentially fix it. And they ended up fixing it to our satisfaction, so we were fine. And a little bit of cleanliness issues, but that's about it. Very happy overall, and the property manager manages all that, so very happy. So hopefully this gives you a lot of value and just talking about the concepts and what we go through. Now, at this point, when we're getting from 3 and we're going to 4, the back of our head is thinking, how much can we offload? So I start getting an insurance broker involved. So he handles all of our insurance renewals, our car insurance, our home and contents, all of the properties. We've got one property manager that manages all 7 of the investment properties in Brisbane. Negotiated a good property management fee there, and yeah, they're very good with their check-ins and their photos and how they deal with tenants, so I don't have to do a whole lot, which is great. My wife does all of the accounts, so she's an accountant by trade with her certificates, so she can do a lot of the BAS, she can do a lot of the bank account checks, the statement checks. So it just means that the larger that we were getting, the more automated we needed to be. And a lot of people need to understand that you need to offload, and anything you do is like people trying to self-manage property and build a large portfolio, it's never going to work. I mean, you pay a percentage point, and eventually if you're going to be, even if you're working through companies and corporate trusts, if you build a large portfolio, there's a good chance you're going to be in the top tax bracket anyway. And, if that's the case, everything that gets charged on this property, you get half of it back anyway from the ATO. Interest expense, depreciation, maintenance, property expenses, property management. There's just a huge list of home loan fees, setup fees, so many things that you can claim on an investment property. So yeah, I do suggest that you stay on top of that as much as possible, and you look at it and you're starting to think more like a business as opposed to an individual. The more you can offload and just operate in a normal setting in your normal life, the better off you'll be. All right, so really hope that you're enjoying this content. Hit the like button, hit the comment button, leave me a comment, please. The goal is for you to go through all of these and then hopefully it's added a lot of value to you in the investment property space. We're showing you right now in real data that this is achievable. Even in now with high interest rates, you're still able to do these kind of setups. And you look, I'm just sitting here right now with a large amount of investment debt with my wife. You know, she's not stressed, and we're still in a huge building phase where we're going to be buying either 1 or 2 large commercial, you know, 1, 2 or 3 million, or we're going to go down the path of buying 6 plus more investment properties in the next 12 months with granny flats on the back of each one of them built straight away. So we're going to be doing a whole lot in this space in the next 12 months, and making sure that, you know, both you and your partner are managing the process well and getting through it. And you know, the goal is for you to go through all of these videos, add a lot of value to you, and then you jump on the link below that I'll set up. We set up a call, and then I can pretty much set you up with all the people that you need to be connected to do exactly what I'm doing here. And the goal is, you know, long-term income replacement. We're not playing this let's get 1 or 2 investment property game. We want, you know, 5, 10 or 15 depending on whatever your goals are, potentially going, you know, into the commercial space if you want. And the goal is income replacement. And some people want to stay in their jobs, some people want to you know, not continue their job, and they want to be doing other things. So this enables you to have these kind of choices. All right, I'm hoping we're adding a whole lot of value here. Hit that like button, hit that comment button, and we'll see you on the next video. Have a great day. Bye.